Entitlement reaches all walks of life, as you'll find out in this episode of Entitled People. Our first one is from Wah Gang. I'm sitting in my office right now, trying to work. I work remotely, and I can hear my family in the background, having a pool party. A pool party that has been in planning for a week. A pool party I did not know about until last night. I have a large house with an in-ground pool, and I've always told my family they can come over, but to let me know ahead of time. This year, no one has used the pool, so I haven't done a lot of upkeep on it. I have a salt system, so it stays fairly balanced on its own, but I've been really busy with work, so I haven't used it myself. Last night, I was talking to my mother, and she said, "Well, I will see you tomorrow." And I asked what she meant by that, and she said for the pool party. After digging, I found out that my brother was planning to come over the following day to use my pool. He was bringing his daughters and had coordinated with my sister to have her kids come over as well. Since my sister and her husband work during the day, my parents would be bringing them by. I asked how long this had been in planning, and my mom said for at least a few days now, and they were just figuring out which day was best. My sister, my parents live with her, overheard the conversation and texted me to verify I knew about all of this, and was surprised to find out I did not know. She texted our brother subtly and asking if he had coordinated all of this with me. 5 minutes later, I get a text from my brother saying he planned to come swimming the next day with one of his daughters, but would be very quiet since they know I work at home. So around 11:30 a.m., my brother shows up with his oldest daughter. I said hello, but went back to work. That is when he mentioned the extra people would be there. At first, I didn't care that much since everyone was family and they had seen my house messy before. Then he mentions his daughter's boyfriend is coming too. He said, "Well, she asked if he could come, so I said yes." I love my family, but they really drive me nuts sometimes. It is not usually a big deal if my family comes over, but the fact that my brother coordinated things with other people, his ex-wife, my sister, my parents, and never thought to ask me if it was okay is just infuriating. And then to invite complete strangers as well. Quick edit, my brother got divorced 5 years ago and lived with me for 2 years. When he moved out, he ended up moving an hour away. Due to this, during the school year, we have a set schedule where he and his daughter stay overnight at my house about twice a month. But during the summer, there is no schedule for him coming by. Second edit, what I thought would be a lighthearted post is becoming both a beating and a wake-up call. For 20 years, I was low contact with my family for reasons, maybe some of them being evident in this post. But I moved back 6 years ago since my parents were getting older, and my nieces and nephews were growing up without me knowing them. And in trying to make up for lost time, I've become a complete doormat. My brother attempted suicide a few years back, and I started letting his bad behavior slide because I didn't want to trigger him. And all I did was enable him instead. I used to have a regular therapist and worked on these types of issues with her, but never found a new one since I moved. Guess that is overdue now. I will work on the boundaries, but I obviously have lots of work to do. Thanks for the feedback. Well, maybe not all of it. No way I can reply to everyone, especially as 60% of the comments are, "Why do you do this?" The answer is because I'm an idiot who believes they always have to help family, even when they are being an asshole. I totally get having a pool and then wanting to let family use it, but just getting a heads up, the least the brother could have done in this situation was let the OP know what was going on well in advance while they were trying to plan with everybody else. I feel like this whole thing would have ended up going smoother, and it wouldn't have made the brother look so damn entitled. This next one is by 1961 Tracy. Many years ago, an old boyfriend and I had reserved a camping spot in California for 4th of July. It used to be you only needed reservations for popular campgrounds, but they developed a much needed reservation system for all campgrounds. Reservations were a must because that year, the 4th landed on a Wednesday, making campsites unavailable and reserved for the whole week. The campground belonged to the state and was a walk-in site campground. For those not familiar with walking campgrounds, you park your car in the parking lot and walk about a quarter mile to the campsite. Both at the parking lot and the entrance to the sites had signs stating that camping was by reservation only. We get there a little bit before check-in time and noticed a group of people had set up on our site and have left to go hiking or sightseeing. At 4 o'clock, the ranger arrives and we explain that someone is in our site and gave him our reservation confirmation. We offer to move to the next closest site, but the ranger said all sites were reserved. He told us he will have them move once they return. He also stated that the people didn't pay the day use fee either. To kill time, boyfriend and I go for a hike and have a quick dinner of sandwiches. About 3 hours later, we get back to the campground and the group is very slowly moving their things. There's 4 adults and about 3 kids. The adults are dragging out, leaving by taking one thing at a time to their vehicles. To slow things down more, they had a pickup truck specifically for firewood and could only move a log or 2 at a time back to the pickup. You'd think they'd have a wheelbarrow for all that wood. It starts to get dark, so we bring out the tent and sleeping stuff for when the site is ready. We figured we could unpack the rest the next morning. As we're removing our things from the car, a member of the group confronts me. He got my name from the reservation list at the checking spot. He asked why I was so lazy as to not move up to a space further out. Boyfriend and the ranger told him to shut up. This only made the man angrier. His wife and his friends started to verbally attack us, telling us if we wanted the space so bad, we should have gotten there before them. They kept insisting we invalidated our reservation by not being there early. Some other campers were watching the whole thing play out and offered us to hang out with them and have cold beverages, which we gratefully did. By this time, the ranger had enough of their moaning and threatened to have local law enforcement trespass them. They finally get the picture and move everything out. We go to set up. I put some basic stuff on the picnic table when I noticed they left us a nasty letter. In short, they blamed us for ruining their kid's 4th. They won't get to see fireworks, have s'mores, or see the stars at night. Instead, we have to go to a motel. Worse, they threatened confrontation if they see us around the area. I folded the letter up and gave it to the ranger the next day. The entitlement and audacity in people that are literally taking a spot that they did not reserve but claiming you should have got there earlier, just absolutely wow. But then again, it doesn't shock me because there's so many people in the world that are just like this. And our final one is from Lord Baronoff. For those that don't know, a rollador is basically a walker on wheels. I had a stroke 6 years ago and my balance and vision got messed up. I can walk maybe 20 to 25 feet on a flat surface without help, but I need my rollador to take long walks and take it with me whenever I go somewhere. I normally have weekly groceries delivered to me at my apartment, but every month or 6 weeks, depending on schedules, my mom will take me to a specialty grocery store where I can get a lot of pre-packaged meals that I just have to put in the microwave for a while. We were on one of these trips and were waiting in the line checking out. The rollador that insurance covers was a piece of cheap white plastic, so last Christmas, my mom bought me one that is black steel and titanium composition. It also has a pouch in the back for storing things, and when I need a break, I can lock the wheels, and it has a fold-out bench I can sit on. So while my groceries were being checked out, I folded out the bench and sat down waiting. When we were done, I got up and unlocked the wheels, while my mom rolled out my cart of groceries. I'd barely got 5 feet when a lady walked up and grabbed my rollador, saying, "I'll take this." I said, "No," and jerked it away from her and proceeded to follow my mom out to the parking lot. Usually, my mom will load the groceries in the car while I leave the rollador on the side and walk my way to the passenger seat. After loading the groceries, my mom collapses the rollador and puts it on top of the groceries. This lady followed us out to the car and was waiting there, tapping her foot while we loaded the groceries. I didn't trust her, so I just stood holding the rollador. My mom said, "Go ahead, get in, it's unlocked." And I just shook my head no and tried to subtly point to the lady as to why I wasn't getting in. Mom understood and finished loading the groceries. When she was done, she came up to me, folded down the rollador while I walked to the passenger side door. Mom folded down the rollador, put it on top of the bags in the car, and was closing the door when the lady started shrieking about how we were stealing store property. I don't know if someone got him or what, but a manager type came out and asked what was going on. The lady screamed about how we were stealing the rollador and she needed to use it. The manager asked my mom about it and she said it was mine and even showed him the plaques bolted on that had my name, emergency contacts, and medications for the schedule I was on in case I needed them. The lady kept screaming that she needed it now that we were done. The manager told her it was mine. It had my information on it that pertained only to me, and that if she needed help, they could find her a mobility scooter or something. She didn't like this, and suddenly went from shrieking harpy to sweet old lady, saying, "Well, maybe she could leave it here and I could use it and leave it when I'm done for them to come back and get." The manager asked, "Would that be okay with you?" And my mom, knowing we would never see it again, said that we couldn't. We had other places to go where I would need it. The lady began screaming again, while we just drove off. I don't know how it ended up for the manager, but I hope he survived it. Something tells me this entitled lady was like never told no growing up, or would always pitch a fit and then people would cave and give her what the hell she wanted, but not in this case. I just don't understand why she thinks that somebody would actually let her use their personal thing when they're not even going to be at the location any longer. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled People. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.